What's going on, you guys? This is All-Day-One, and I'm going to give you another Godfall build video. So with this build video I'm going to give you guys is I'm going to be going over Moebius and her perks, her build. So the build I went with for Moebius is a curse build, which is pretty for obvious reasons. So let's just go ahead and take a look at her Archon Fury. So just keep in mind with this video, there's no editing or anything like that, no editing software, because I'm still trying to figure out how to use that. But yeah, this is all gonna be in one take. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Archon Fury. So for the first thing, you get a 10% chance to inflict curse. This is automatic. This one is just by itself, so it's really nice that you get that. And then you have Archon Fury activation effect. It summons 3 Void Sentinels. And then you have during Archon Fury, 90%. You get an additional 90% chance to inflict curse, as well as doing 100% damage to cursed enemies, and your attacks deal void damage. So this is going to be really good for Moebius for this particular build here with all the gear setups. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly why. So the first item you're going to end up using is a Void Blade. So you're going to have 2 Void-like items. You're going to have Void Blade and you're going to have Void Sight. You can go with one or the other, or you can go with both. Or actually, no, you do need to go with both, not one or the other. Make sure you do go with both. The reason why is because, one, Void Blade is going to allow you to, it says, whenever you perform a death blow, the enemy explodes and deals 2100 void damage to nearby enemies, which is really good. And then for the perks, it has 13% chance to inflict curse, 15% timing attack damage, and 22% weak point damage. I don't really care for the timing attack because I don't even use that perk. Would have been better if it was like breach damage or crit crit chance or something. And then, or damage to cursed enemies, or damage to void, damage to cursed enemies. Would have been obviously a better option. And then for the Void Sight, it says summon a Void Sentinel whenever you use your Northern technique. So this is really nice because it's not only using it for the Void Sight. That perk, or that primary, procs as well as on Void Blade. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you real quick what I mean. So as you can see, I'm going to actually use it on this first. You got to use your Northern technique. So when you do this, it'll spawn a Void Totem. And then when I do the same thing, it spawns a second one because I use the Northern technique on both items. And what's nice is you should be able to technically, okay, let me see. You should be able to technically spawn as much as possible. So I have 2, I have 3, yeah, so as long as you're able to just pretty much keep up your techniques, you'll be able to pretty much, you'll be able to pretty much keep up as many totems as possible. But 2 realistically would be the most you'll end up actually getting. Next up is going to be Earthminders Crest. So with this, it says for the primary, 42% breach damage if you have more vitality than any other attributes. The only reason why I mainly went with this is because it has 6% chance to inflict curse and a 27% damage to breached enemies. So, I mean, obviously that's really good. But there's other options that you could technically go with. So you can also go with the Brother's Promise, because when you soul shatter an enemy, it has an 80% chance to summon a spirit ally, warrior ally. So you could technically kind of like make a quote-unquote summoner build with this, because you can get the void spirits or the void totem spirits with this, or void sentinels, I guess, and then you can also end up getting the spirit warriors. So if you wanted to go that route, otherwise, I mean, I would just go with the Earthminders Crest, so that way you can do more breach damage. Just got to make sure you do have more vitality than anything else, though. As you can see, I'm at 2150 vitality. And then for the charm, I'm actually using Crab Talisman instead of me running the where is it? Instead of me running Lunar Token, because this gives a crit chance increase, I'm running the Crab Talisman instead, because it says apply the Mark of Leeching whenever you inflict curse, and you're going to be inflicting curse a lot. The perks could have been a little bit better. I don't really need the shield charge speed at all. but the crit chance is nice to have. It would have been nice if it came with like curse, what's it called, inflict curse percentage or damage to cursed enemies. Those two would have been a lot better to go with, or even crit damage. Next up is Chromatic Circle. For the primary, it gives me 20% void damage. Secondary, I have Archon Fury damage, 24% damage to cursed enemies, and 12% damage void damage. This is pretty much a god rolled circlet, a ring for Moebius when it comes to the void build. And then I have a ring almost like that called Eye of the Dragon. For the primary, when you defeat a cursed enemy, gain 123 overhealth, and your overhealth no longer degenerates. Really good. But the perks is also really good. 14% void damage, physical resistance, and void resistance. I kind of wish it came with the same perks. Well, not kind of. I do wish a lot that it came with the same secondaries. But I mean, the resistance is nice to have as well. Especially void resistance, because being hit by void damage sucks a lot from when you're getting it, when you're fighting against void-like enemies. And then physical resistance, I mean, pretty much everything has physical damage. Next up is Archon's Tier. So this Archon's Tier is my highest Archon's Tier out of all the other ones. As you can see, it's giving me 1177 health recovery. But the main thing is because it's giving me 27% void damage, 5% to all resistances, and 21% weapon technique damage. If it didn't give me that 27% void damage, I probably wouldn't have actually used it and probably would have just stuck with using, I think it's this one, Archon. Yeah, I think it would have been, I would have just stuck with using this one because it's crit damage and soul shatter buildup. But, I mean, this one just came with really good perks. Wolfshed Banner is what I'm using. It gives me 34% more damage, 10% crit chance, and 21% weapon technique damage. So anyone within the radius of the banner is getting all those buffs. So that's why I really like that. And I'm sorry if you heard that screech in the background. That's my baby brother. He still can't talk. Next, now we're going to go with augments. So as you can see, I am using Sacred Flame. Adjacent augments grant an additional 65% might. So if I have pretty much anything that's in the adjacent slot, then I'm getting that 65% increase in might, which is really nice. And then next is going to be Innervation. So with Innervation, extend the duration of Archon Fury by 1 second whenever you whenever you defeat an enemy. So pretty much every class should be able to make use of this because the Archon Fury, it does damage. I mean, it's going to allow you to do some type of damage or damage buff or whatever it is. So having this is going to be useful because it's just extending the duration of Archon Fury. And then next is Destruction is what I'm using. It's giving me a 26% weapon damage or weapon technique damage increase, as well as 126 might. And then Ancient Oath is what I'm using next. So as you can see, it's a 5% damage to breached enemies for every 20 vitality on adjacent augments. And it's giving me up to 30% damage to breached enemies. So that's really good. And on top of that, it gives me 17% void resistance and 15% resistance to fire. And then next up is the Warp Augment. So with Warp, it's giving me on the primary status or apply status to nearby enemies whenever you use your Lifestone. And then the main reason why I'm using this is because it's giving me 25% damage to cursed enemies. But being able to apply status to nearby enemies whenever I use the Lifestone is really good. It comes in clutch so much. It is amazing to have. Next up is Lion's Pride. Gain 35 overhealth whenever you defeat an enemy. 26% damage to breached enemies. Evisceration is the next option, or next thing in the red slot. Gain the Blessing of Power whenever you defeat or whenever you perform a crit hit. And then secondary, Soul Shatter buildup, 20% weapon technique damage. And then I have Rift, 29% damage to ailment on the enemy, 26% damage to breached enemies. So when it says 29% damage to ailment on the enemy, it means any status effect. So if there's a status effect on the enemy, you will do 29% more damage to them. It doesn't matter what type. And since I'm applying Curse, that counts as an ailment. So that means I'm going to be doing 29% more damage to that enemy. And the last one is Glamour. 65% damage to each ailment on the enemy, if at least 2 adjacent augments are green. And then secondary, air damage and physical resistance. I don't really care for air damage, obviously. So this is really nice for basically combining the two with these. You get 29% more ailment or damage to enemies that are affected by ailments, and then you get up to 65% damage for each enemy affected by ailments as well. And yeah, I mean, now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the skills. So for skills, pretty much just like my Greyhawk and my Aegis Horn build videos, it's all the same, but instead you're going to keep ailments. So you want to get at least 4 into weapon techniques, 4 into soul shatter, max out vitality. You want to max out vitality, spirit, and might, as well as all stats. Those are the 4 that you 100% want to max out. And then you want to make sure you max out crit chance and crit damage for sure, because you can get the mark of fragility, which allows you to do a lot more crit damage, and then, or not more damage, but allows you to mark the enemy and make them weaker to damage, take more damage. And then this one for crit chance, greater blessing of luck, allows you to have a higher crit chance. Anytime you crit, you have a chance to proc greater blessing of luck, allowing you to get a huge increase in crit chance. So you're going to notice a huge damage increase from that. I put 4 stars. I put 4 upgrades into Archon Fury. Getting all 5 would be recommended. Ailments, you definitely want to max this out for this build, because you're going to do 35% more damage to enemies affected by ailments, and then you also get an 8% chance increase to inflicting ailments. And then recovery and resistance, I mean, you don't necessarily need them, but they do help out a lot. And then weak points, obviously you need at least 1 point in that. And then you want to make sure you get at least 1 point into finesse, because finesse is amazing to have, just allows you to dodge around a lot. And then breach is good, is obviously going to be a good one to have, so that way you do more damage to breached enemies, and you do more damage to the yellow bar of the enemy's breach bar. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you kind of like all the different things that you should be looking for on this build. So I'm going to try to proc curse so you guys can see what curse looks like. And as you can see, when you kill an enemy, it's just going to make them blow up right there. So I'm going to try to proc curse if I can. I'm at a 30 right there. So that little purple symbol that you just probably saw. Okay, right there again. That purple symbol is what represents curse. Now, I don't know exactly what curse does. I think it just makes it to where... No, never mind. I was thinking it makes it to where enemies don't attack you as often or are as aggressive, but obviously that's not the case. So right now, curse is just a thing that does damage over time and allows you to do more damage. But like I said, I don't know exactly what curse does in terms of like an actual effect. I don't think it's not going to even tell me here. It just says void damage can inflict curse. Cool. Alright, but anyways, that's pretty much it with this video. If this helped you guys out, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. I will try my best to help you guys out to the best of my ability. Yeah, I mean, also I'm at 19% crit chance. That's not good. I want to at least be at 20%, so I can, when I proc this, it's at 50%. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section as well. If you have any like things that you use with your Moebius build and what you would like to see me do with her, let me know as well, and I will definitely try out whatever I can, because I love experimenting builds, making new builds, min-maxing builds, etc, etc. If you want to see some gameplay of Moebius, just go ahead and stay tuned for streams and stuff, because I'm always streaming this game. And yeah, because I can't just throw in a gameplay, unfortunately, because I don't know how to edit yet on PC. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this helped you guys out. This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4. Not on the PS4 anymore, actually, but All Day Any Day 1. Have a good day, good night, and peace.